Have you ever read Grant Cardone's Be Obsessed or Be Average? He basically details in that book that to really grow personally, professionally, in business, whatever, you need to be obsessed. And that obsession will enable you to grow beyond what the average person does. So in this book, 10x is easier than 2x, page 118, Dan quotes Robert Greene from Robert Greene's book Mastery, saying, "The great masters in history, they excel by their ability to practice harder and move faster through the process. All of this stemming from the intensity of their desire to learn and from the deep connection they feel to their field of study. At the core of this intensity of effort is in fact a quality that is genetic and inborn, not just talent or brilliance, which is something that must be developed, but rather a deep and powerful inclination toward a particular subject. This inclination is a reflection of a person's uniqueness. This uniqueness is not something that's merely poetic or philosophical. It's a scientific fact that genetically, every single one of us is unique. Every single one of us is unique. Our exact genetic makeup has never happened before and never will be repeated. With those who stand out by their later mastery, they experience this inclination more deeply and clearly than others. They experience it as an inner calling. It tends to dominate their thoughts and dreams, aka they're obsessed with it. They for some reason cannot let it go. It doesn't leave their mind. It's very hard to have a balanced life for these people because you're constantly thinking about what it is that you want to do next in that area, right? Or what you're called to do next. It's not just a want in the sense of I want chips. It's a calling, it's a desire to actually accomplish something in a certain space. So they experience this as an inner calling. It tends to dominate their thoughts and dreams. They find their way by accident or by sheer effort. When I was in 2021, I was building out a ton of websites and learning how to host things on WordPress. I built out thousands of websites on WordPress over the past few years. And for the first while, I was banging my head against a wall because I majored in philosophy and theology. It was just like, I don't know how to do any of this. But then eventually you learn, okay, your server, then you have your CMS, and then you have your theme. You build all that, and you learn how to structure that. But it's all through trial and error and figuring out a dozen YouTube videos, trying to figure out how to build this thing out. But he says this intense connection and desire allows them to withstand the pain of the process, the self-doubts, the wondering, okay, am I really going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to push forward and make this happen? The tedious hours of practice and study. I remember when in 2021, I had an office on Main Street in this tiny town I live in. And what I had, there was the ability to focus in that space. I had 2,000 square feet. I used probably 500 square feet of it. But I would be there from about 10 in the morning till midnight, leaving for an hour or two in the afternoon just to take a break and walk around. But those are a lot of hours putting in, learning that skills and practicing the different ways. Okay, you set up the different technical skills, how to implement on-page optimization so that both Google likes the website but it's also still attractive to human visitors. So you're learning the balance between those two and how to do some CSS and different other technical aspects. But then he says, the tedious hours of practice and study, the inevitable setbacks. I mean, inevitably you delete your site once in a while by accident or when training your team member accidentally deletes the site. And so you learn, okay, well, automatic backups need to be a thing, right? And so he says, the endless barbs from the envious. Like people are saying, why are you always there? Well, you should spend more time with your wife, But when you feel called to do something, some people just aren't going to understand. So I really resonate with that long quote from Robert Greene, Mastery. This is from page 118 and 119, and 10x is easier than 2x.